So we're going to set up 2 soldering stations, and we're going to go through the cells, and we're going to choose 72 cells that are up to our requirements, meaning that they're not broken in half or have a huge chunk broken off.
I know these are boxes of rejects, right?
They're off spec, but these particular boxes are pulled from the assembly line after they've all been tested. So they're all guaranteed to be 1.5 watts. By the way, these cells are costing you $2 a piece, and they're actually 1.7 watts is what we measure. So they're just a little over $1 a watt.
We're going to have 4 strings of 9 for each module, and then we can, some of us can be soldering, some of us can be choosing cells.
So what I'm going to do, first of all, this is wet, and you only clean the tips with a wet sponge or a wet thing. I am putting a little bit of solder on here. There's actually, I'm going to see if there is enough. So what I'm doing is I'm lining these up, and I'm going to solder.
See how this little jig set up there, right there? That way it makes it easier.
The top edge?
Piece of wood,
Yeah.
a little,
Yeah, I'm shoving that against there, and that looks like it's the same as that. You want about 2 millimeters gap between them. And I'm melting this right down. You don't really have to add any extra solder, because there's enough solder in this to do the job. Whoop.
See how hot that was?
Yeah.
You just barely touched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn that one quick.
Yeah, you run that fast.
Yeah. There we are. So what I'm doing is I'm lining this ribbon up, seeing how it lines up, and I'm just heating it. By the way, it's nice to have longer fingernails, because then you can do this. And every so often I'm going to put a tiny bit of solder on here to make sure that there's enough.
If too much solder builds up on the tip, you need to clean that off by using that little sponge with water.
Yep. So what you want to do is you have nice flat joints. When the front ones are already done for you, and that's the most critical because they're right up against the glass. And if there's a bump of solder on the front, it'll put a pressure at that point when you use your poor man's laminating machine and maybe crack the cell. It also fills up, the silicone needs to fill up that gap, so you're using more silicone. The back, we're going to have it in the paper, and the paper gets soft when it gets soaked with the silicone, and the paper and the plastic are on a foam pad so that the bump will push down into the pad, so it's not as critical.
Lay it in position. And when we're going to show you when we do the encapsulation, you see how this is coming off the front, this is coming off the front, this is coming off the back. They'll actually be this way. And you have, and they'll be, when I touch them, they break. I have for some reason, I like them. If they're going to break, it'll break when I'm moving them. Okay, so you see you have the negative, positive, negative.